Hello dear aspirants, I am ready with must-read articles for 3rd February 2025, and the 2nd February 2025 had discussed a lot of schemes that budget has brought, which I will bring tonight, okay, because it had a lot of schemes that is very important for UPSC. So I am 𝐼𝐞𝐥𝐜𝐻, your mentor from Prepp IAS, and I am trying to make your newspaper reading very relevant from UPSC point of view. So let's start with 3rd February 2025 newspaper, okay. So in first front page we can see the article is about Trump slapping tariffs on Canada, Mexico and China. Trump has done it in his previous presidentship also. This comes under GS2, effect of policies of developed country affecting India's interest, and a lot of India's stock market went really down after this behavior, and even rupee depreciated, okay. So Donald Trump has done this because he thinks there's a major threat from illegal immigration and drugs, and now these countries, which is Canada, Mexico and China, are going to counter tariff. They are going to do it on USA, okay. So let's move to the next article. So we have discussed this yesterday also. Over 260 refugees from Myanmar seek shelter in Manipur. Okay, so we know that Manipur is going through a military junta government. There is no democratic government there. There is a lot of conflicts between a military junta government, ethnic armed organization, and that too on the very border of our northeastern India, okay, northeast region. So what is happening because of the civil war raging in Myanmar? Security agencies are verifying the reports of deaths of a Manipuri youth, and 260 Myanmar refugees have taken shelter in India along the Moreh border in Manipur, right? So Manipur is being affected by incoming of refugees from Myanmar. This comes under GS paper 2, India and Myanmar, India and its neighborhood relations and refugee crisis. India is going to face, okay. Let's move to the next article. Yeah, so this article discusses about budgets and gives some, first he mentions a lot of good schemes that government has brought, and this editor further gives more suggestions on that, right? So beyond tax cuts, a closer read of union budget. So this comes under GS paper 3, economy, budgets, issues related to mobilization of resources, growth and development, okay. All these issues all these schemes are being discussed here. So there are a lot of macroeconomic challenges that India has been facing, like high taxes were there, unemployment, subdued private investment, okay, and fiscal overhang that India has to pay a lot of money to interest payments, okay. So what are the things that budget brought? The first is fiscal consolidation target of 4.4% of GDP in financial year 26 is the key highlight of the budget, which is very good. And to achieve that, government has brought second asset monetization plan from 2025 to 30, which was announced in the budget. But according to the editor, that much is not sufficient. We need more for a better fiscal health, which is improved tax buoyancy, efficient tax administration, and realistic asset monetization strategies. Okay, so these are the things we should do. Government should further target on. The other issue that we are facing is manufacturing. Right, so India is trying to emerge as a global manufacturing powerhouse. Economic survey has flagged India's underperformance in manufacturing, which is mere 17% of GDP. Though production-linked incentive scheme (PLIs) is a very important and successful initiative of government, has shown moderate success in sectors like electronics, but more is required. Though budget has announced enhanced credit facilities for MSMEs and launch of National Manufacturing Mission. This was done by budget this year, okay? And they are trying to promote clean technology. They are trying to change, they will change MSME classification criteria by increasing investment limit by 2.5 times and doubling turnover thresholds, okay? But there are some issues that still remains, which is regulatory inefficiencies, infrastructure gaps, low innovation capacity. So the editor is saying that we should focus more on industrial research and development. Though the government this year has given a huge budget for science and technology research and development, but industrial research and development is very dismal in India, which is only 0.64% of GDP. So it will not allow us to compete with countries like China. The other issue is area is agriculture, where a lot of initiatives have been brought, like a new initiative, Prime Minister 𝙤𝙤''𝙩'𝙤'''' National Mission on High Yielding Seeds. Okay, so this is brought to enhance productivity. Then Kisan Credit Card is also, loan limit has been increased from 3 lakh to 5 lakh. Okay, so Kisan Credit Card loan is important, and this limit has increased from 3 lakh to 5 lakh. And other targets. So what are this Prime Minister 𝙤𝙤''𝙩'𝙤'''''''''''''''''''''' target is to improve the 100 low productivity districts and target them from precision support to this low performing districts from agriculture point of view, right? And not just blanket work, but more of targeted. Okay, so he's encouraging more concrete measures like leadership in millets and natural farming, and we have to tackle the price volatility on market access also, and not just help in the production side, but also in the marketing side of agriculture is required. Okay, budget also talks about external sector, where IT and business process service sector is our major exports. Okay, which grows at 10.5%. But budgetary efforts to diversify the export portfolio remains insufficient according to them, though the facilitation initiatives like Bharat Trade Net and export credit support for MSMEs are positive steps. Bharat Trade Net, okay, and credit support for MSMEs, but there are still a lot of challenges like depreciation of rupee, declining forex reserves. So he is saying the fiscal push should be given to value-added sectors like pharmaceuticals, electronics, renewable energy, and high-value agricultural products to keep India's position very critical in the global supply chain. So budget also says that, he's saying budget is intending good on climate action and clean energy. That's why incentives for lithium-ion battery recycling is there, duty exemptions on critical minerals is there, and support for domestic solar photovoltaic and battery manufacturing is provided. But more needs to be done, that is parallel investment in grid modernization and energy storage and industrial decarbonization is required, right? So he's telling more things, more suggestions. Okay, so this is a good way you can write in answers what is done by the government, and then in conclusion you can write what else can be done in that area. Okay, let's move to the next article. Similar article on the budget. So he's mentioning he's mentioning it in a different way. That's why I've taken this article also. Right, he's talking that the budget has gone good on economic expansion, fiscal prudence, and sectoral growth. So first thing that budget has done is reducing the personal income tax. Okay, personal income tax has been reduced, which was a big news. All of you must have heard. So how does it help? Why reducing personal income tax is being so much appreciated? So what happens? It indirectly will lead to a lot of employment. How will that happen? Right, so decrease in personal income tax will lead to a virtuous cycle. What is that virtuous cycle? Lesser income tax, so more, higher disposable income in my hand or in people's hand. So if you'll give more money in the hand of middle class who are aspiring to buy a lot of things like a good car or maybe a good TV or maybe good, whatever things they were going to, they will buy. So that will lead to higher consumption. Rich class, if given more money, will not lead to higher consumption because they already have everything. But the middle class is aspiring class. So, they want to buy a lot of things which will lead to higher consumption. More consumption, so more the demand of products in the economy. So that's why business will improve. They will start producing more. For example, if you want more vehicles, right? So for example, a company like Mahindra will have to increase the manufacturing and hence so improved business. And if business will improve, higher indirect tax. So economic expansion will happen, and thereby the employment will increase. So they are trying to infuse employment and economy by reducing the personal income tax. The other way the budget has tried to do is capital expenditure, capex. 11.2 lakh crore they have kept for capex, right? That will also lead to a lot of employment generation. For example, cement, infrastructure will require a lot of cement, iron and everything. So a lot of laborers will be required to make it. The industries will have to produce more of the materials, right? So again, that will lead to a lot of employment generation. Nation's logistical and industrial backbone will also improve, right? So for manufacturing, they have brought a mission, National Manufacturing Mission. In Make in India initiative, they are covering small, medium, MSMEs are targets of government also, and it is very important for UPSC also. Time and again, questions on MSMEs are asked, right? So the budget is also focusing on labor-intensive sectors such as tourism, food processing and leather. Infrastructure side, focus on maritime sector. So separately, a maritime development fund has been kept, okay, especially for marine economy in the coastal states. So for this, because of this, blue economy will be encouraged, okay. And again the UDAN scheme, the regional connectivity scheme, which was connecting, smaller, which was creating airports at smaller cities, and and connecting it to bigger cities. So that kind of scheme, that UDAN scheme is taken for more 10 years. Okay, so 120 new destinations under a modified 𝙦 देश का आम नागरिक UDAN scheme, which is for air connectivity. Okay, so Prime Minister 𝙤𝙤𝙩'𝙨 Yojana, which we already read about, will enhance agricultural productivity, will cover 100 districts of low productivity, moderate crop intensity, and below average credit access in partnership with state government. So this is what is Prime Minister 𝙤𝙤𝙩'𝙨 Yojana. They will promote crop diversification, agricultural practices, right? And this will increase rural income, and higher rural purchasing power will happen, which will indirectly benefit the corporate sector also. Government is trying to reduce the fiscal deficit to 4.4% only, right? So rationalizing of the duty structure, simplification of the tariff framework by removing an additional 7 tariff rate is a noteworthy announcement. So the basic custom duty and all also they are trying to simplify, BCD, okay. And they have also addressed the issue of inverted duty structure for some products, which is a welcome step. We'll discuss it further. Tonight I'll bring the specific newspaper of Sunday on budget. Okay, and this is another article that is more important from prelims point of view, crisis in Congo. Okay, so there is this rebel coalition group M23, which is capturing the mineral-rich city of Goma in Congo. Goma is in Congo, and it is a very difficult time for Congolese government. M23 is led by Tutsi-led rebel group. Tutsi is a ethnic group which is leading this M23 rebel coalition, right? And it is going against Congolese government. And this Tutsi ethnic minority is supposed to be backed by Rwandan government. So Congo and Rwanda has a very bad history where there was a lot of massacre, like the crisis in Congo can be traced to Rwandan genocide in 1994, where 8 lakh people, mostly Tutsis, were massacred by ethnic Hutu militia. So Tutsi were from Rwanda, who were killed badly by Hutu militias. This Hutu militias ran to Congo. Now Tutsi minority of Congo is attacking and is taking some kind of revenge. Okay, so this is important, as a lot of people from there are trying to come to India. Remember this community's name and Goma in Congo from prelims point of view. Let's move to the next article. So this live-in relationships in Uttarakhand, since we have talked about that Uttarakhand government have brought uniform civil code, but they have said that every live-in relationships are mandatorily to be registered on the portal. So this article is talking about how it will affect right to privacy of the people. So under the code, only unmarried heterosexual can enter into live-in relationship, and applicants are required to submit an extensive set of documents for registration, photographs, PAN card, Aadhaar link to their phone number, and proof of residence, right? So failure to register a live-in relationship within a month may result in both civil and criminal penalties. Okay, so it's a enforced thing. Okay, so it is little bad from privacy point of view. So requiring individuals is a gross violation of the right to privacy enshrined in Article 21. So right to privacy has come under, has been brought through which Supreme Court case, Puttaswamy versus KS Puttaswamy versus Union of India case. Right to privacy encompasses both informational privacy and decisional autonomy. So this will be affected. Okay, though one good silver lining is that they are acknowledging the live-in relationships, okay, that they can live and no landlord can stop them, 2 adults to live together, and they should be unmarried. Okay, so that is the thing. But this mandatory registration may bring some other fundamental right issue in forefront. Let's move to the next article. The next article is about citizenship. One of these articles, budget for children as a share of the overall union budget. So there is 5.65% increase from previous years. Previous year budget 5.56%. For example, there's a question about children in GS paper 1 or GS paper 2. You can say that there is 5.65% increase in the budget from government for children. Okay, so government is giving importance to our coming generation. Let's move to the next article. about citizenship, the legal systems under which citizenship is acquired. So what is citizenship? Why are we talking about it? Because Donald Trump had passed this executive order, and that in future only to children with parents holding US citizenship or a US green card will be, those children will only get the US citizenship whose parents are also citizens. Okay, just being born there is not sufficient. So here we are discussing which kind of citizenship. What is citizenship first? Citizenship is defined as full and equal membership of a country. I and you are equal. Political participation is also there, right? So Hannah Arendt is a political philosopher, thinker, who in her words, citizenship is the right to have rights. Right? You cannot have all rights in a country if you're not the citizen of the country, right? So there are two ways, two legal systems through which citizenship is given. One is just solely. That means whoever is born in the soil, rights of the soil will be given citizenship. It is done in many North American countries like Canada, Mexico, Brazil, Argentina. So if you are born in Canada, if your kid is born in Canada, they'll eventually become the Canadian citizenship. But other is just sanguinis, that is right of blood. So where your parents belong from also matters, right? So child citizenship is determined by the citizenship of parents. So many African country, European country are India, Germany, follow this just sanguinis. Okay. And why are we discussing about it? As I just said, US Supreme Court, through 14th Amendment had said that all children born in the US, irrespective of parents' citizenship, will be the citizens of US. But the current executive order is trying to change that of Donald Trump. Okay, though federal court in state of Washington has temporarily stayed the order, but you never know what will happen in the future. So in India, how was the case throughout? Citizenship Act 1955 governed the citizenship in India till June 1987. We were following just solely principle, that is citizenship to anyone born in India. But after July 1987 and between December 2004, it was required that one of the parents of child should be Indian citizen at least. Okay, and then being born gives them the Indian citizenship. Then it was further changed in 2004 that both the parents had to be citizen, or at least one had to be citizen, other should not be an illegal migrant. So this was stopping a lot of immigrants to come and settle here. Right, so this happened, and recently the Citizenship Amendment Act 2019 is trying to accelerate the citizenship of persecuted minorities like Hindus, Christians, Sikhs, Jains, Buddhists, and Parsis from neighboring countries like Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh, which was a very controversial in nature, but this is the current status. Let's move to the next article. So this article is talking about various challenges associated with AI-driven testing. Right, so Human Genome Project, launched in 1990 and concluded in 2003, has enabled the documentation and analysis of the building blocks of human DNA. Right, so who will develop a rare disease or carrying genetic abnormalities? All these predictive tests have become possible because of this Human Genome Project. But there are a lot of issues. This comes under GS paper 3, AI related benefits and issues. Okay, so genetic information can be processed faster with AI. AI will help in several areas. It will help a lot of people who are suffering with genetic diseases. But the amount of personal data going under the scanner is also increased, and this will increase the potential of data security risks and leaks. Okay, this is going to happen. So this is what is happening. A lot of companies have come in this area, like Nucleus, a genetic testing startup was founded. And they are saying they can analyze any kind of disease that is going to happen, cancer, depression, longevity, everything they'll be able to find through this genetic makeup, and traits. But what has happened recently, this few companies' genetic data has been hacked also. This one of the company 23andMe was at receiving end of data security breach, where hackers gained access on personal data, including family trees, birth years, and geographic location of 6.9 million users, and sold it on the dark web. So this is very bad for somebody's privacy. And so that's why there's a lot of challenges that will come with AI. So that is important for us to keep in mind. Let's move to the next article. There's only one small, so Manrega we have discussed several times, so I'm not going to discuss in detail. Forum flags fall in employment days under Manrega. So Manrega promises 100 days of employment, right? 100 days of work guaranteed under Manrega. But average working days per household under scheme has come down to just 44 days in 2024-25 from 52 days in the previous year. So though 100 is promised, but it is the practical implementation is coming down to 44.62 days. So this is also a governance issue, lack in implementation of any scheme. Let's move to the next article. So there is this issue: Indians in Congo are asked to depart to safer places. As we discussed in editorial page, that there is this M23 group led by, Tutsi ethnic group are capturing Goma, and the Congo is coming under problems. So Embassy of India in Kinshasa, Democratic Republic of Congo, is closely monitoring the security situation and asked all the Indian nationals in Bukavu to immediately depart to safer locations. There are 1,000 Indian nationals in Congo, right? So these issues have come up. Let's move to the next article. And I think the last article of the day, which talks about nuclear reactors that finance ministers has mentioned through in the budget. So small modular reactors, pocket nuclear plants. This comes under GS paper 3 energy. Okay, so in her our finance minister has emphasized contribution from nuclear power for India to meet its renewable energy targets, right? So a new mode of nuclear power generation is small modular reactors, SMRs, okay, which is smaller, more flexible and easier to build than traditional nuclear setups, okay. So what is SMR? The definition is which produces less than 300 megawatts of power. Okay, so the nuclear plants which will produce less than 300 megawatts of power. So scientists are exploring an even smaller design, which is called micro reactors, which will produce 1 to 20 megawatts of nuclear power, right? So you should know these definitions. So there are different parts of SMR which can be machined separately, and it can be assembled in factory, so it is easier to make and having to be built. Okay, so it is more conventional, so it is easier to be scaled up than a conventional reactor, though it has some downsides that it is still experimental in nature and we don't know how the results are going to be, okay, without capital investment. The first generation of SMR designs require low grade uranium as nuclear fuel to operate, and thus will need to be refueled more often. So these are some disadvantages of SMRs, that it needs to be refueled more and we don't know what will the results be. So in this year's budget speech, nuclear energy mission was launched with 20,000 crore outlay to study SMRs, right, small modular reactors, and operationalize 5 indigenous units by 2033. This is the target of Indian government. That's it for 3rd February. Thank you.